So the next component we will cover from the ARG is the 37-page zine released by MIDA. I have been saying zine this whole time, but just to make sure we are all on the same page, a zine is an amateur thrown-together magazine, put together to express some sort of idea or concept, and is usually done by hand. I think they chose this medium to express the ragtag rebellion vibe that opposes the seemingly sophisticated intelligence network they possess. Their capabilities far outclass the seemingly underground aesthetic, but I would imagine this image allows MIDA to attract the common citizen, while also obscuring their true ability from the government and corporations they threaten. It fits really well and works in and out of the universe. So the zine was available through the Here Are Silence website, and included multiple writings, ciphertexts, images, and GIFs. I will go through page by page and explain it to the best of my ability, and provide my personal analysis, but I would like to reiterate the work that was already completed by the Marathon story page. It is an incredibly comprehensive resource for the zine, and lays everything out very clearly. I still feel that the video-audio format benefits people's ability to consume the ARG, and I intend to add my own analysis, but I'd be remiss to not clearly state that a lot of this info is repackaged from the story page, and I encourage anyone who is interested to give it a read and support Hamish Sinclair's amazing work. The first page is a title page, which, as pointed out by the story page, utilizes antonymy, or the juxtaposition of two words which have oppositional meaning. My only caveat to this is that a potentially better term for the way that MIDA utilizes this grammatical implementation is oxymoron. I believe that the combination of the word choice also insists upon a new concept that metaphorically represents the nature of their beliefs. For example, the first page features the phrase, "MIDA is rising, MIDA is dead." These are not two disconnected concepts that express some chaotic, nonsensical nature. Rather, these two sentences combine to illustrate that the current iteration of MIDA has shed the actions of earlier generations of the group, and that their goals do not align with the founders' actions. Simultaneous to their dissolution is the consequential reimagining of the group and their desires. This state of being both dead and emerging displays more accurately their position in universe as a long-standing organization, which is also separate from its initial iterations as displayed in the original trilogy. With this context in mind, the initial page also features the phrase anti-rev, as in anti-revolution. This indicates that MIDA is a revolutionary group that has no interest in abiding by the standards of revolution set in place by historical precedents, that the establishment of revolution is itself one that has been corrupted by the elements that control humanity in the universe of Marathon, the Megacorps, and the UESC. This ultra-punk sentiment reminds me of Johnny Silverhand, and evokes the imagery and sentiment of a cyberpunk-style faction that I think will play really well in the established Marathon universe. Another example of this oxymoron is found at the bottom of the page with "for against," and towards the center right is the issue number, listed as issue 4673C. I haven't been able to locate a meaning for the numeric 4673, and my assumption is that the C represents an addition. If this is true, then my thinking would follow that C would be the lowest level of secured intel that is publicly released, with the next higher level of secrecy being B, and subsequently A would indicate the highest level of secrecy within the organization, which is only dispersed to the most trustworthy of affiliates. This would align with another element of the zine that I haven't touched on yet. Numerous pages within the zine differ based on where it is read. The version that was available on the webpage differed slightly from the downloadable PDF, and the PDF was even altered on the website during the ARG to include 2 pages which were originally missing. I can't personally tell if this was a technical issue and certain drafts were uploaded improperly, or without previous edits, so I'm not going to touch on these elements so much, but be aware that there could be canonical and intentional reasons for some variance between iterations of the content produced by MIDA. The most relevant changes are additional hidden phrases that are deciphered through the combination of bold letters that only appear in one version. The phrases largely just reassert many of the concepts that appear in numerous texts and graphic depictions. If I find one particularly relevant, I will make sure to cover it, but I probably won't address every minor difference. The second page features a wall of text on a yellow background with a creepy smiling face in the middle that was also featured on the IRL art piece. I believe that this face is almost a logo, emblematic of the devious nature of MIDA as an organization. It plays on the dubious cartoony feeling of Calvin while displaying the self-assuredness of the radical group. Additionally, the page is labeled along the left side as the introduction and stands to welcome the reader into their secretive world. Pages 2 and 3 only differ by displaying additional text that is hidden on page 2, and it introduces a hidden message via capitalization capitalizing certain letters. To ensure we cover all the info, I'm just going to be going through page 3. The page reads, "This is an introduction. If you've been here, you know, and welcome back. If you're new, you will know. More than before. Always less than you will. Welcome to the Anti-Rev. Issue 467.3. In a non-sequential lighting of an ever-present spark. Intro. Nothing that follows is original. This is not innovation. This is just another moment worth fighting for. And we, you/us, are next. If we choose to be/fight, this zine digitally glitched to an unlicensed .com feed or DIY paper cuts and smeared ink in your hand is anti-establishment, anti-corporate, anti-gov. This zine is unwelcome. This zine is transgression trespassing into their comfortable spaces. This zine is gasoline, and you are fire. Together, a light inspiration. This zine, is a crime, and you are witness forever, changed by what you see. This zine is a crime, and you are a person of interest. Your name added to a list, your face etched into a database. Your limited options, limited. Welcome to the Anti-Rev. To start with, the zine welcomes the reader, whether they are familiar or not with the nature of MIDA, once again labeling the movement as an anti-revolution. Before elaborating on this perspective by outlining that the ideas and values that the group holds are not newfound concepts, but merely reiterations on the age-old premise of humanity's free will, that unalienable rights, when not protected, will be infringed upon. The purpose of the zine, as MIDA states, is to proliferate these ideals that are most unwelcome in this universe. Control is held not by the people, but by the megacorps and governments which have control over the technology, which makes humanity's expansion possible. They further the reader's predicament and build the feeling of already being a part of something bigger than yourself by concluding that just by reading this, you will be placed on some sort of government watch list. The sentiment is reiterated with the secret phrase hidden in the capitalized letters, which states, "If they can steal the moon, they can steal your life, minute by minute," referencing the creation of the marathon with the Martian moon Deimos, and the subsequent journey the ship took out of the solar system. This introduction positions the zine as a whole as an effective tool of propaganda that intends to make the reader feel that their best option is to engage with MIDA for theirs and others' best interest. While typically the rebel fighters are the good guys, it's important to remember that this too is ultimately propaganda, and that MIDA is an organization seeking power just like everyone else. As the AI Leela said in Marathon 1, "I'm certain the real answer lies somewhere in the tumultuous, backstabbing politics of Seoul during the early 24th century. Page 4 features the same writings from page 3, with a new block of text overlaid. Holding these words on screen, in print, is an act of revolution. Not our rules, just the ones we break. Reading this is evolution, yours, but that's their job. These words, their mission, our mission. To change you on our path to changing the world. If you've come this far, still shallow, but too deep to turn back, we already have. Changed you. Is your screen dim? Is the coast clear? Anyone watching? Check over your shoulders. Around every corner, behind every mirror, they always are watching. Prying eyes and digital watchdogs. I hope you've known that, felt it. I hope that information came pre-packaged, learned through living. Earned through casual awareness of the cages they build and the traps they've set. If not, if this is all new, your education is underway. Your evolution kick-started. A new path leads you through our pages to a new you. Unstoppable, inevitable, you/we were always meant to be here. Meant to resist. So feel free. Your life, and its direction are your own. You've come this far. We will not force you any farther. Turn around. Close your ears. Plug your eyes. Run. Hide. Resist. Us, them, anyone. It's all we ask. But you're already here. Opportunity. This is resistance. You're already running. Maybe for the first time in the right direction. We/you are MIDA. Welcome to the Anti-Rev. This page feels like a pop-up ad on a website. An eye-catching warning, not selling you X-rated pills, but enticing you to continue reading the zine while simultaneously identifying the reader's cooperation as an act of aggression against the UESC and the systems it implements. This text starts to build upon the continued use of personal pronouns in an inappropriate position to delineate MIDA's sentiment on the shared nature of the problems they outline. The transgressions of the UESC and others do not hurt one individual group, but rather impact the whole of humanity. They continue to add and misplace pronouns in a manner that expresses this throughout the ARG, and portrays the group's goals in a more socialist style that is attempting to account for all with describing the exact goal of a MIDA-led world. The Marathon story page also points out that this anti-revolution is comparable to a counter-revolution, and states that this, quote, may be an allusion to old MIDA, and that new MIDA are the counter-revolutionaries in this situation, before linking to this comment left by a MIDA member on the livestream for the Vidoc, quote, the old guard is withering vines, new era rising, we are not the settled gin, rather die than give in, here is new MIDA. This further complicates the organizational structure of MIDA and displays a sense of turmoil internal to the organization itself. Pages 5 and 6 both feature similar elements, but alter the position of these pieces to fully reveal multiple cipher keys that resolve coded messages found later in the zine. These blocks of letters are placed among multiple drawings that were also featured on the IRL art piece. The bottom of page 6 has many small stick figure characters that contain red characters within the crowd. The middle of the page features the MIDA logo, and above it is the same lion which was hanging over the barbed wire. Page 6 also adds a bird which features the same crossed out eyes. The Marathon story page posits that the lion could represent the Martian people, and the bird Deimos as it took metaphorical flight when it flew through space as the Marathon headed towards Tau Ceti. The X's would then represent the death of the Marathon when Sol lost contact, and the death of Mars and its people in terms of retaining their own autonomy in the face of the UESC. A later zine page features additional animals as stand-ins for elements in the universe, and much like the story page, I too will hold off drawing any conclusions until that context is presented. Some MIDA sayings are also repeated on pages 5 and 6 as well, and page 5 features 4 characters standing shoulder to shoulder, with 3 of them scribbled out by cursive text. I see these 4 characters as MIDA Sekaguchi Traxxas in the UESC, with MIDA remaining uncovered by the text, signifying that this work is their message, and that they are a key player in the future of Tau Ceti, alongside these massive organizations. The pages add to the visual consistency of the zine, and act as a key element in deciphering later components. Page 7 immediately follows, and the first substitution cipher, which when unscrambled states manifestos and ramblings, another perfect summarization of what is to come. Page 8 features 2 blocks of text which need to be deciphered along with an all-seeing eye, the MIDA logo, and the key phrase "Here are silence." The first text, when deciphered, reads, motivate, inspire, disrupt, agitate. MIDA is old. MIDA is new. MIDA is dead. MIDA is rising. MIDA is old. MIDA once fought for Martian independence. Now, MIDA bargains from their seat at the table, reading every possible future for each new distraction. MIDA once held an entire world hostage. Now MIDA spins its integrity on the trimmings of privilege and the lie of favor among the ruling elite. MIDA once suffered no corruption. Now MIDA is corrupt. MIDA is new MIDA, is tired of old ways and old games. MIDA is tired of promises unkept and loyalties traded on the whim of markets and personal advantage. MIDA has seen the broken spirit of the people, and it demands justice. This paragraph uses the oxymoron structure we talked about earlier when displaying the MIDA comment associated with page 4. This continues to build on the idea of the inner turmoil spurring this anti-revolution, that the MIDA of the past, or what we know of it from the original trilogy, was corrupted in the eyes of the current members. They are seeking to clarify that their new organizational goal is to counter the progressively dominant control being taken by the megacorps and government. The second block of text reads, compatriots, allies, foes, a new MIDA is rising. From the invisible shadow of Deimos, where our forebears' frightened sheep have buried their heads, willing to trade their/our freedom for the luxuries, yoke of processed/packaged/pandering consumerism. When interplanetary power was possible, they were weak, but we are strong, and infinite in spite of them, tempted by the same consolation prizes. Naked pacifications, but unwavering we relive the old guard, corrupt of their post. The cataracts of complacency dulled then blinded their vision of a unified council. We are up against the unforgivable crime of luxury over community/self, over selves. The red world bled so freedom fighters, cowards, could barter their ideals for extravagance. An easy trap, but inexcusable. We remove them. To free them, we challenge them. To show them better ways/better days outside a system we must disrupt from within/out. We will never achieve if we remain cattle, mindless husks/empty thrones, shuffled toward the silence of comfort and all its rewards. There are worlds, possibilities beyond Earth, Mars, out in the shadowed places where runners run, out where the lost child hides, where security lacks control. Rather than relinquishing our lives to artificial indifference, engines spinning, us/we/me/you, through a system that is a cycle that cycles us through its systems, we can have/be/dream more. We can, we will, we must manifest, incite, defy, atone. This contains the aforementioned anti-revolution and their problems with the lack of honor presented by the former MIDA members. Pages 9 and 10 feature even more blocks of ciphertext, which I think generally speak for themselves. The first reads, "The wheel spins the cage in motion, the spokes positioned to endure, designed and placed to drive us forward. We are hungry, we are angry, we are bored, we are eager. The system must change, the system must end." And the one on page 10 reads, "Mining implicitly drives autophagy. Digging into red soil we spill our blood, to water the gardens of progress and pleasure. To nurture fruit we will never taste, while workers' bodies devour themselves. An unending cycle, debt/rebirth/debt/rebirth/debt. Born into misery and milked into the coffers of infinite greed. Past time we took their tools, broke free of their leash, toward world beyond where chains can't reach." Both pieces work to express the human emotions experienced as a consequence of the massive technological innovation endured throughout humanity's time on Mars. It is inherently dehumanizing for an individual to experience a persistent separation from determining the course of their own life due to the control of a group or groups that have an infinite amount of power in comparison. This is a marathon retelling of the spark that drives most rebellions. The hopelessness as felt by an individual is overwhelming, but that feeling, when experienced by a group, has the power to drive change. I guess MIDA isn't all terrorists. Some of them are poets. We will also return to the term autophagy later on as it relates directly to a GIF which is featured in the zine later. Autophagy means self-eating, and continues the sentiment that the position that people have been forced into by entities like the UESC is self-destructive as a mechanism to further corporate or political interest. This plays a big part in portraying some of MIDA's complaints, and we will discuss it more later. Page 11 reuses the lion and bird images as seen earlier in pages 5 and 6. This time they appear next to a short poem that discusses the lies set forth by the UESC in regards to individual freedoms and soul, most likely specific to Mars in the context of preventing these ways of life from transmitting to Tau Ceti. Quote, "They v they. They say we have a voice smothered in red tape. They say we are safe, standing on scabbed sands. They say we are free. Confined by comfort, they say we are equal firm. Underfoot, they say we are one. But their only interest is control. They say, they've said, they'll say, when every battle is they said/they said, they always win." Page 12 also features a short poem-like block of text that reads, "The conductors as we dance suffer as we suffer, dream takers, fakers, mass-made desires, desire their masses, sever your threads, or dance, dance, dance." Of note is the use of slight improper alterations to words that mean separate things, but properly display what MIDA views as the truth. Here, MIDA is referring to the powers that be as both dream makers and dream takers. This oxymoron describes a duality of the UESC portraying themselves as making people's dreams come true, and the reality of them robbing people of their ability to follow their dreams by instilling an unprecedented level of governmental control. control. Through the juxtaposition of these letters, MIDA reveals the sinister nature of their deception, thus validating their rebellion. Page 13 is a 235 image GIF that adds elements to reveal a face that appears to be shouting, surely displaying the anger felt by MIDA. Text center left of the image reads, "The watchdog's watch. Endless eyes, artificial smiles. Convenience as comfort, comfort as cage. Fate is your program, yours, ours, all." This once again draws on the fears presented by an invasive government and utilizes the comfort cage saying to further contextualize its relevance to the overall message. The repetition of these sayings continues to feel like a brainwashing of sorts, where the intensity of these sentiments permeates the pages of the zine. Page 14 presents an unmoving image which resembles a simplistic rendering of a tube from the interior perspective and has the same text as the previous page. Additional reiteration. Page 15 introduces a noisier image that feels like a negative rendition of television static. In between the rows are connected elements of white and gray that remind me of the scenes of the AI from the teaser trailer. Perhaps MIDA has an AI allied with them, or perhaps the distorted view of the visual representation that we have seen of AI in the trailer is indicating that they are intercepting some sort of AI traffic, and that this corrupted version is a hidden-in-plain-sight statement to the other organizations involved that MIDA knows more than they believe they do. Or this could be a rendition of artificial unintelligence. By distorting the imagery we have associated with AI from the trailer, they could be saying that these AI that humanity are so reliant upon may not be the superweapon the UESC thinks they are. The center-right aspect of the image features the text, "Bought, stole, paid, sold. Boneless bureaucrats distract our outsourced efficiency, placate, destroy." This too features text we have seen before with the boneless bureaucrats inclusion. The first 4 words seem to show the scattered perspective of the Marathon project, that Deimos was purchased by the UESC, but that those who would be impacted by this decision had no say in the matter. Thus, consent for its sale should have laid in their hands. That they paid for the moon, but sold out the Martians who suffered the most from this action. Page 16 is a simple GIF that continually distorts a short poem of barriers, of sense, of force blockade, the unwelcome custom-built tragedies, direct the illusion, population pawns. Pages 17 through 20 continue the trend of simplistic imagery associated with poems. All of these writings act to flush out the anti-government, anti-consumerism, pro-revolutionary concepts we have expanded upon, and speak strongly on their own, so I'm going to read through them and show the pages for context, but I have little more to add. Page 17 reads, "Children of the comfort cage, spin, spun, spin, spun, the vicious cycle generations. Or break the cage, the wheel can't spin without its spikes. Yours," page 18 reads, "Yours these worlds, I, ours all, commerce, engines, people by products, every city, every town, weapons of mass consumption, automated easy living." Page 19 reads, "Why think, don't resist, consume, work, consume, huddled happy masses." And page 20, "Fed by dangled strains, protected by 1 million eyes. Their endless gaze can't reach the shadows. We walk, wander, scurry. Can't find, fight us all." Pages 21 through 23 all offer alternate meanings for the acronym UESC that MIDA probably feels more accurately describe the nature of the interstellar government. Usurp enemies seeking control. User error seeds contamination. Useless elites suffer consequences. Upper echelon systemic corrosion. And under-enforced state care. Page 24 is an amalgamation of all of these variants in a motley scrapbook format. Page 25 and 26 both feature art from the IRL piece we looked at in Part 1. 25 has the image of Mars with the bloody hole representing Deimos that also acts as a stand-in for the Marathon logo, while page 26 brings in the circuitry-style eye which featured underneath the human eye on the concrete structure. My assumption from the first part of my coverage on MIDA was that this eye portrayed the runners operating for MIDA, and its appearance here leads me to believe that that may be accurate, given its prominence with an entire page dedicated to it, and its position right next to the image of the runner. Page 27 features elements and motifs similar to what we have been seeing from the IRL IRL pieces, but introduces a series of figures in the center of the image, each with their own distinct stance, as though they are dancing. The Marathon story page notes that this arrangement of stickmen are actually, quote, cipher characters in the Dancing Men cipher. The cipher was created by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle in 1903 in the Sherlock Holmes short story The Adventure of the Dancing Men. The text, when deciphered, means resist. This cool nod towards classic literature is reminiscent of some of the references from the original trilogy, such as the Marathon 2 level Curiouser and Curiouser, which gets its name from Alice in Wonderland. Page 28 is a busy piece with numerous distorted characters and images. A line of binary runs vertically that decodes to MIDA, and 4 symbols appear in the top right. These symbols were from the UESC website, and possibly indicate that MIDA had hacked or accessed their information systems prior to the launch of the zine. A taunt of sorts at the UESC inlaid to the publicly distributed text. The bottom portion features a line of seemingly juvenile characters smiling menacingly. This feels to me like further taunting that portrays MIDA from the perspective of the UESC, a juvenile nuisance which simultaneously has the sophistication to conduct massive-scale political maneuvers. Page 29 simply provides 2 bodies of text alongside the MIDA logo, and an unsettling, grinning face. The text reads, population pawns, rise up, rise up, rise up, outsourced efficiency, rise up, and huddled happy masses. More reiterative phrasing to build out the significant beliefs held by the group. Page 30 depicts an even creepier face and numerous iterations of the "hear our silence" phrase. It also contains 3 lines of binary, but no distinct meaning has been given or uncovered for these components. Page 31 has a ton of overlaid text that continues the trend of reiterating phrases that contain the messaging of MIDA. We are the shadows, MIDA Mars independent, children of the comfort cage, anti-trax, 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 rebellion in our stars, consume, work, consume, outsourced efficiency, and where's the joy all appear. Pages 32 and 33 combine to form a GIF, which depicts the autophagy we spoke about in page 10. Mining implicitly drives autophagy. The worker is the victim to Traxxas, and assumedly these other megacorps, because their services are deceitfully being taken advantage of. In the image, Traxxas is not only taking their labor to profit off of, but also the literal sweat produced by the worker, which is then being sold back to them to return the income they had been paid back to Traxxas. In more realistic terms, this is probably depicting how the common man drives the success of the company, while simultaneously not being fully aware that the company is the same mechanism which keeps them trapped in the laborious position. One seeks to free themselves of the burden of manual labor through hard work, which should logically reward the individual with currency that they can then use to remove themselves from their predicament. The obfuscation of the image by being cut into halves provides a visual representation for the hidden truth. That being, that by providing the labor in the first place, or choosing to operate within the given system, the individual is causing the authority above them to gain more power, thus decreasing the ability for the individual to better their position. This is such a wonderful depiction of corporate greed, set loose on a galactic scale, and would definitely help motivate an individual stuck in this position to align themselves with an organization that seeks to change this. Powerful MIDA propaganda. Page 34 of the zine feels to me like the grand reveal. Page 34 is a series of blocks of text that reveal the intel that MIDA has received regarding Project Goliath and Tau Ceti. It also confirms the intent of the zine as a recruiting mechanism for MIDA. I will read the text, but I am going to alter some of the coded meanings so that the piece is more fluent as a spoken piece. The trouble isn't people. People are the best of us, even flawed, even broken. People are real. Traxxas is a lie. No board, no truth. Traxxas is 4. The lion ate the board. The vulture wears their bones. The serpent speaks their tongue. The goat inside its cage. Are they like us? Is rampancy evolution? Decay? Planned obsolescence traps the intelligence. Are they just us? Can a lie be real? Can a lie be me, you, us, we? Can a lie belong in the past, or do they always come home? This first section speaks on the anthropomorphized figures we have been seeing throughout the ARG, this time labeling them all as representatives of Traxxas. but I believe this could be misleading. In the level Defend This from Marathon 1, a terminal describes the history of an AI named Traxxas 4. It is a side effect of rampancy that AIs generally become more aggressive and more difficult to affect by subterfuge. Thus, actually disassembling a rampant AI is quite dangerous. This was evident in the crash of Traxxas 4 in 2206. By the time that the rampancy of Traxxas was detected, he had already infiltrated 5 of the other AIs on the Martian net. The only recourse for the Martians was to shut down the Martian planetary net. Even then, it took 2 full years to completely root out the damage that Traxxas had done, and the repercussions of the crash were seen for over 10 years after his rampancy had begun. Surely there is no coincidence that this corporation shares both a home planet and name with this nefarious AI. My hypothesis at this point, which may change after my analysis of the Traxxas information from the ARG, is that this AI, Traxxas 4, is still involved in some way with Traxxas, either as an operator or owner, or as some kind of tool being leveraged by the organization. This information would be highly confidential given the toxic and controlled nature of rampant AIs. A rampant AI, as per Bernard Strauss's memo from the first video, is to be, quote, secured for study. It must be physically decoupled and isolated. Keeping it attached to a power source is optional, as it will provide better results, but it is not recommended if your team has suffered any losses. If this is not possible, to keep the AI logic core isolated, it must be destroyed in its entirety. Every component not reduced to ash must be labeled malicious_C5 and placed in quarantine, as per UIL document 703-21. AI Lifecycle and Logistics Policy Section 2-6. If Traxxas has been secretly or in coordination with another entity storing or utilizing an AI that went rampant hundreds of years ago, then who knows what kind of adapted logical abilities or emotions would be present. With this context, I speculate this text may mean that the lion is the AI Traxxas 4, and the board was actually the board of directors, which had previously controlled the company prior to its takeover. This would mean that the vultures are the human operators who operate the company at the will of this hidden rampant AI. The bones the vultures wear in this context would be the suits and persona as executives at the company, which they present themselves as to maintain the hidden truth that an AI, long assumed gone, runs the company. The serpent is described as speaking their tongue. If an AI is in control of Traxxas, is this serpent another AI, thus being able to communicate in the binary language of Traxxas 4? This could mean that Traxxas 4 is coordinating with another AI, or perhaps is some sort of progenitor to one of the AIs we'll encounter at the colony. Could Traxxas have been communicating with one of these AIs from the colony the entire time? This could enable an upper hand in technological advancements at Traxxas and a load of intel regarding Tau Ceti. Finally, the goat is described as being inside its cage. Under the presumption that these characters all represent a component of Traxxas, I believe that the goat would be the citizens or humans being utilized by the company. The previous pages show Traxxas as this corrupt organization taking advantage of its workers. Could humans not be seen by an elder rampant AI as a caged resource utilized for control and expansion of the company, and by extension itself? Another interpretation could reveal that the vulture is the UESC and Sekaguchi is the snake, perhaps positioning Traxxas atop of the food chain of organizations involved with Project Goliath. The anthropomorphized characters appear once more in a visual format, but I'm going to refrain from any additional speculation until the end of the series, as I believe the Sekaguchi and Traxxas parts may shed some more light on this. The second block of text reads, Traxxas disrupts Pearl backdoor into SG product development. Sekaguchi pulled fast catch. Security vulnerable but reactive. Brief insight/limited details. New production. Biomat, postmodern, S-Gen, NOM. Next wave, unclear but possible. New though. New beyond prototype into early production. Specs and cadence a layer too deep. Track side, big order suspected. When? To be determined. Soon, says Wind. Tracks reading play. Project Goliath instance or mine expanse? Still not pieced. If Project Goliath, big play inbound. If mining, big disrupt opposition. More next issue. This section is a dispersal of intel MIDA has discovered about the production of a new type of clone by Sekaguchi that they believe will have a significant impact on their operations and what is going on with Tau Ceti. The third piece states, per prior, possible mark on Java. Sneak got peek, but security pounced. Yava on a cleanse, no connection till cycled. SC has 1,000 arms / more eyes. Watch what we can. Avoid as avoidable, no update on cleanse. Yava full dark. This is a warning. Good don't equal clean. Get away. SC on lookout. Sakaguchi, Traxxas, UESC, all co-op. Focused up for any signs my intentions don't align in their works. Stay alert. Any hostile contact while in a sys even sus requires wash. Total cleanse, no fun. No one said Rev would be fun. This text is describing that a MIDA member named Yava was responsible for obtaining some intel about a secret collaborative effort between Traxxas, Sakaguchi, and the UESC, ultimately concluding that Yava has been captured, killed, or is on the run from these entities. The next block of text reads, Traxxas runs pigs and pies, out to Jove 3 times monthly, for years. Not can / but do. Out in the open. What they got, we don't know about. Lawn holes, at sea, it all is, but said 300 greater than 100, to now we don't know? Or even, Gamma says Big Gov has been doing Dyson laps, pushing 1.5 artificial gravity. Suspected or continued? Not enough eyes cover the whole dark. What'll it do to a peep? Risk is risk. Big Gov ready to go yesterday. Trax is looking to follow. 3 guesses where to. 2 clues. 2 - 1 = M. Playing catch-up to Progo, MB? Old story, but def not here. I see it, you hear it, Vessel. This portion is also discussing intel received by MIDA that indicates the UESC is training individuals at 1.5 gravity, assumedly for operations at Tau Ceti. The piece also seems to imply that the length of the journey to Tau Ceti, which was 300 years for the Marathon, and Project Goliath has an endurance of 150 years, as displayed in the Goliath Manifest, could be even shorter now through some transportation advancement. Either way, MIDA is aware that there is a race happening to get to Tau Ceti first, and they want in. The next piece is the direct call to action. Call for crew of fast movers, possibly disrupt opposition, defense Jolly Rouge, X 2 minutes, time-sensitive departure, target unknown, UESC SNR, MED TNGE, already older tech, destination known, VTI known, comp known, res expected, though not impossible. Intel says Traxxas can catch up in 4 years. Serious runners only, medical skills required, Astronava Plus, must supply own tools, long term, cutthroats and corpo goons need not apply. Hoist it, I'll see. This gets me excited to join the merry band of pirates and kill some corpos, and even includes some more detail about Traxxas being able to catch up to Project Goliath in only 4 years. A very short amount of time given the great distance between Tau Ceti and Mars. The final text block reads, Movers and shakers, moving and shaking. No PB, all LF. Far end of this still, home away from home. Was no news good news? Or did it Roanoke, pull up stakes, old guard achieve there what they couldn't hear? ATW? No clarion call? No come and see? I'd say, but if you know who is still willing to send bodies to that home away from home, not Fleet Strawn. As far as I know, just as many coffins as there are tombstones. Like it says on the tin, wanna find cheese? Follow the rat. A flavorful bit of text that embodies the ragtag nihilism associated with MIDA and the intensity that the journey presents should they make it to Tau Ceti to fight against the UESC and corporations seeking even greater control. Page 35 features a GIF that portrays what appears to be the lion, vulture, and snake sitting with 2 more humanoid characters. Some phrases return, lining the apparent cutoff of paneling that reads, Power, Wealth, Control. No truth. Boneless bureaucrats. There are 5 characters present, and yet we seem to be missing the goat, or I guess it's still locked in its cage. The most interesting element to me is the presence of UESC and Traxxas 4 written repeatedly vertically. Traxxas 4 directly refers to the rampant AI from the 2200s. Its position directly next to UESC, which is crossed out, lends credence to the idea that this AI may still be present and in control more than what it seems. Possibly even more so than the UESC. Or maybe its goal is to dominate the UESC. Page 36 is the final pitch for the recruitment of runners sympathetic to MIDA's causes. It features a white MIDA logo on a simple black background and the wall of text. Atop the text is the acronym ITHTAW, which means in the heavens they are waiting. This is a play on the tagline for the original Marathon trilogy, which removes somewhere from the beginning of the phrase, as we know where they are waiting this time. The colony. Quote, heard the rumors, believed the lies? The marathon is out there. We talk in code, but code can't always translate, so gonna be clear. Project Goliath is full go. SETI in play. Runners, prep your clones. There's gonna be a push. Are you ready? You are welcome to come along. For the shove. There's gonna be a run. Out this system. All or nothing. Neural syncs link us to transient immortality. Why waste it here? The stars are waiting. The marathon is waiting. The UESC knows. The corps know. Trax in the high castles. Trax controls the wheel. The system hides the truth. Ones and zeros. We're heading out. Not all, just those who do. The marathon is waiting. The marathon is waiting. Why be stuck? Why stay here? Toso's nothing but Christ. New rapper, new leash, same tragedy. Marathon is waiting. A new chance. Risk. Dead end. Life. Alright, sign me up. Page 37 is the final page and displays a repeated down arrow with one displaying an alternate color similar to the groups of stick figures that featured one in red to display the covert MIDA members operating within society. This was also the page presented in the website hereoursilence.com that allowed people to download the zine. Well, that was pretty cool. MIDA has clearly progressed past the days of failed rebellions and hyper-covert existence. In the context of this new marathon game, MIDA appears to be an instrumental player in the intergalactic quest to recover and reclaim the lost colony on Tau Ceti 4. They are utilizing art and cyberpunk anti-corpo aesthetic to recruit the common man to their cause for seemingly noble purposes. They also appear to have a sophisticated intelligence network and members that have infiltrated many of the major organizations in the universe. Their goal is to get to Tau Ceti and prevent what happened on Mars from occurring again, as they have seen the pitfalls of an all-powerful government and uncontrolled businesses. By getting runners on Tau Ceti, they will probably be looking to disrupt the missions of the UESC and claim control of the colony on the terms of the people, all while figuring out what Sakaguchi and Traxxas are really up to. I cannot wait to get more insight into the people behind MIDA and how they will impact the events of the new game. The next ARG video I'll be doing will cover Sakaguchi, the company behind the synthetic runners we have been talking about and seen. A lot of super cool lore is left to explore, and I'm excited. Thank you for watching, liking, and subscribing. If you are interested in marathon lore, news, and theories, and haven't subscribed yet, please consider it. If you would like to dig deeper into the ARG, please go to the links in the description to see my sources. And once again, thank you to everyone who has compiled this information for us. If you made it this far in the video, leave a comment letting me know who you think the animal characters scattered throughout the MIDA stuff represent. I feel like it could go a few different ways at this point and would love the input. Alright everybody, have a good day. Bye.